Gunmen stole millions in jewelry and cash from a Kitty Goldsmith and his clients. Man in police custody after he was discovered with an unlicensed firearm during a search. In the region, tension grows over Haiti aid as quake toll jumps, and internationally, US to begin offering COVID vaccine booster jabs in September. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. As of today, commuters applying for a priority crossing will now have to apply directly to the office of the Minister of Public Works, Minister One Edgehill. Minister Edgehill said this is to ensure efficiency.
This is to cut off the abuse. There are people who line up religiously to get on the ferry. And they're there, and people who show up, sometimes 10, 12, 15 people, obtaining priority crossing, and people are there left behind. So that is what we're getting rid of. The purpose is so first come, first serve it. So it is ensuring that we have fairness and equity in the system. That's what's being supervised by my office.
The management of Transport and Harbour Department today put out a press release with immediate effect. Its traffic office will no longer approve the request for priority crossing. Minister Edgehill said while the department will still issue priority crossing, it will be supervised by his office.
The Transport and Harbour Department will still be issuing priority crosses based upon application because of the abuse. And I use the word again because of the abuse of this process. It is being supervised to ensure that we have efficiency by my office.
Minister Edgehill stated that this move is to bring about order and coherence.
Priority number one should be for government officials doing official business. Ferry is all Guyanese. And we want a system where people could get there and get over. Priorities have been abused, and we're streamlining that.
Gunmen stole millions in jewelry and cash from a Kitty Goldsmith and his clients. Esther Sobers has more.
Police are investigating another robbery of a gold establishment. Armed bandits raided a goldsmith and his customers on the Silver Street in Newtown, Kitty on Wednesday evening, stealing millions in gold jewelry, cash, and electronics. According to investigations, the goldsmith was at his place of business while the other victims were in the compound waiting for items they had commissioned to the goldsmith. 3 suspects barged into the establishment and held them at gunpoint, demanded that they hand over everything. One of the suspects remained with the customers outside, whilst the other 2 entered the building where they held the goldsmith at gunpoint and relieved him of a quantity of gold jewelry estimated to have valued at $1.2 million. The 4 customers outside were coerced to hand over their gold jewelry, cash, and electronics, which all came to an estimated value of $2 million. The suspects then escaped on 2 motorcycles, which the registration numbers are unknown. Headline News will keep you updated as police investigations continue. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. A 23-year-old woman is now in police custody after attempting to smuggle a quantity of cannabis into the New Amsterdam prison, sealed in 2 papayas. According to a police report, around 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the suspect visited the facility to bring food for an inmate. During a search of the food she brought, police found 5 bulky parcels wrapped in transparent plastic containing several leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis hidden in 2 papayas. The suspected narcotics were seized and the matter was reported to the Central Police Station. The suspect was told of the offense committed, cautioned, and arrested. The suspected cannabis was weighed in her presence. It amounted to 192 grams. The suspect is in custody pending charges. Then go way after the break. Man in police custody after he was discovered with an unlicensed firearm during a search, and woman remanded to prison for sexual assault of a minor.
On the 23rd of August at 4 p.m., the doors for Flavors Hotel, Restaurant and Bar will be opening. We are just opening our doors for the public. Being a new restaurant, new establishment, we want to get kitchens in place, the bar in place, the employees, the staff, the service, so that by the 28th, the grand opening, all systems are in place. There are no falters. Our bar is far beyond anywhere else. We've got lots of specialty drinks that I'm sure Dan is going to appreciate. Our food is unsurpassed. We have a specialty menu with a certain type of steak, certain type of fish. It's unsurpassed. We bring professionalism to Guyana. You get the best. Best entertainment 7 days a week. We have entertainment. I'm a stickler for jazz, Sunday jazz. I'm pushing jazz. I've got a couple of jazz bands that will be here every Sunday at 6. So please come by. Very creative person, creative in the kitchen. I'm actually a contractor that builds restaurants and bars. So I've kind of perfected the art in Atlanta and New York. And I decided to bring a bit of America to Guyana.
#1 hangout spot, Flavors Hotel Restaurant Bar.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewellery and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewellery and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewellery and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Go to school so that someday I can do something to make a difference.
I'm the first in my family to attend the university, and I won't be the last.
I want my daughter to be able to hold her head up high in this world as a proud, educated woman.
Education has changed my life by giving me the opportunity to make it better.
Welcome back. A man is in police custody after he was discovered with an unlicensed firearm during a search at a city hotel. Here is more from Esther Sobers.
Police are investigating the discovery of a pistol with 5 live matching rounds last evening at the CJ Hotel on Hake Street, Laceytown. Police, acting on information received, went to the hotel and made contact with a 49-year-old suspect who was a guest in one of the rooms and requested to search. While searching, a black one-strap bag was found around his shoulder, which, when searched, contained one Jennings Bico Model 38 pistol and 5 matching rounds. He was asked if he had a license to carry a firearm. He replied no. He was told of the offenses committed, cautioned, arrested, and escorted to the Brickdown Police Station. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. An unemployed 19-year-old was yesterday remanded to prison for the rape of a minor. Gabrielle Allen, also known as Gabby of Lot 26 Buck Hill, Wismar, Linden, was arrested on August 15th, accused of the rape of an underage child. As a result, the Ghana Police Force launched an investigation into the allegations, which led to the accused being charged for the offense of rape of a child under 16 years, contrary to Section 10(3) of the Sexual Offences Act, Chapter 803. Allen appeared virtually at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan, where the charge was read to her. She was not required to plea. She is expected to make another court appearance on September 10, 2021. A 23-year-old security guard was yesterday remanded to prison for simple larceny. Delon Austin of Lot 41 Blueberry Hill, Wismar, Linden was arrested on August 7th for the break and enter and larceny committed on the dwelling house of Leroy Fraser. Allen appeared virtually at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan, where he was charged with the offense of break and enter and larceny contrary to Section 229A of the Criminal Law Offense Act, Chapter 801. Summary disposal was applied and he pleaded not guilty to the charge and was remanded to prison. The accused will make his next court appearance on September 1st, 2021. Don't go away after the break. Tension grows over Haiti as the QUAKE toll jumps and Indian states plan for 2-child limit stirs controversy. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
For decades, milk has remained the same, until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop Price Smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. The number of people who died in Haiti's magnitude 7.2 earthquake has risen to 2,189. Survivors are desperate and help is not getting to the disaster zone quickly enough. Tension is growing over the slow pace of aid efforts as the Prime Minister promises not to repeat a history of mismanagement. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
This is the as yet little known centre of Haiti's disaster zone. 2 hours from the city that captured attention following Saturday's earthquake, things are worse. We drove through 10 kilometres of countryside in which most of the houses were simply destroyed. We stopped when we saw this building. in the village of Florent. It housed the community's hospital, church and school for 53 years. On Saturday, in a heartbeat, it was gone.
Now we're trying to at least find a tent to help the kids back to school so they don't miss the year.
The Florent district chief says 98% of the houses here went down too. Judith was washing clothes, just like when we met her, when her house collapsed behind her.
I saw the earth moving and we started running. There were 2 people inside. Fortunately, they managed to get out.
Now she and her family of 9 are homeless, just like most of the community here. Some lives have been lost too. Ramon and Sylvain's son was out in the fields with his dad when he was killed by a landslide, set off by the quake.
I feel terrible. Every time I'm taking care of the animals, I think of him, because he enjoyed doing that. Yesterday would have been his 14th birthday.
They showed us a photo of him, and abruptly, it caused an outpouring of grief. We continued, the villagers wanting to show us all they've lost. I asked Anise Gaston by the ruin of her house if the community had got any international aid. There's many aid teams flying into Haiti and heading to this region, but it seems the help has yet to filter down to here, and it's needed. You go from house to house in this community. There's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they're mostly destroyed. And what people here are telling us is that this time round they're unable to help each other because they're all victims. The district head is very clear about what Florent requires.
Tents, tarpaulin, water and food, but the tents are the most important thing.
He says that he's already talked to the Prime Minister, who asked him to wait. Meanwhile, fresh aftershots continue through the town. A powerful one, while we visited, sent this frightened crowd into the street. They already have little left, apart from each other. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Florent, Haiti.
Internationally, in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, the government is working on a policy to discourage couples from having more than 2 children. Experts says the proposed bill is unfairly aimed at Muslims and will be disastrous for women. Al Jazeera's Pavni Matel reports.
It's lunchtime at Gajendra and Rekha's household. The couple works as daily wage earners and say they had 5 children to help earn more money. They also wanted more boys. They live in Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state, which is drafting a bill to promote a 2-child policy.
The policy will benefit the government. Less rations, less subsidy. And those with 2 kids will get more. What does the government care? It's none of their business. It is the parents' job to feed the children. This is a weird way to think.
The state's 2-child policy bars families from several welfare schemes, including food subsidies, in one of India's poorest states. The government says this will improve development, but opposition parties believe the aim is to deepen the communal divide ahead of next year's state elections. The state is governed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, whose members have promoted the idea that Muslims have too many children, threatening India's Hindu majority. Al Jazeera reached out for a comment, but our request was denied. Those behind the bill want to bring down Uttar Pradesh's total fertility rate to 1.9 by 2030. But government data shows the state's fertility rate has already been falling twice as fast as the rest of India and would have achieved those levels in the next decade without this controversial 2-child policy. Nidhi Wasade, whose patients include poor and rural women, advocates for fewer children, but says that a restrictive policy could make things worse.
What can happen is, since our country is a male-dominating country, so it might lead to increase in illegal abortions, which I feel we need to check on, because though everything is illegal, but there are places, everybody knows the fact about it.
Experts believe this bill could harm women, poor communities and minorities.
What we need to do for them is to provide family planning services close to their doorstep with good quality and choice. Education will take time. It is a magical contraceptive for women's future, their growth, their empowerment.
The bill has gained traction in other BJP-governed states. Assam has already passed it, saying it was the only way to bring down illiteracy and poverty among Muslims. But families like Gajendra's, who depend on subsidies to feed their families, believe this law will leave people like them worse off. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, Bulandshahr, Uttar Pradesh.
And finally, the US government says it will offer COVID-19 vaccine booster jabs from September 20th as COVID-19 cases rise due to the prevalence of the Delta variant. The decision comes as health experts says protection from the shot wanes as early as 6 months. But some Americans are still opposed to the idea of getting the first jab, Al Jazeera's Phil Lavelle reports.
Afghanistan for days, now back to issues at home for Joe Biden.
Cases are still rising, especially among the unvaccinated.
But COVID's hardly a welcome distraction. Delta is out of control here.
Quite frankly, it's a tragedy. There are people who are dying and who will die who didn't have to.
And even some who are vaccinated are panicking about
vaccine-induced protection against SARS-CoV-2 infection begins to decrease over time.
But this time, at least, there's a plan.
To offer COVID-19 booster shots to fully vaccinated adults 18 years and older.
The worst-kept secret in medicine, but welcome news in a wealthy, if not healthy nation. Loads of vaccine supply, demand.
This remains a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Not so much. Forget the booster. Some haven't even had the first shot yet. And then there's the issue of masks. Part of the problem here in the United States is the complete mishmash of rules, and here's why. The CDC says that regardless of vaccination status, if you're inside a public building, you should wear a mask. But that is just advice, it is not the law. Whereas if you're in a federal building, like for example, a passport office, you have to wear a mask. But then again, you could be inside a federal building in a mask-free state, and regardless of vaccination status, you come out, you can take this thing off with no repercussions. It is confusing at best. Texas is one of those states. Its Governor Greg Abbott still refusing to enforce masks, even though he just tested positive. In fact, southern states being hit hardest.
It just makes you feel like you're just helpless, like you can't, whatever you do, you can't help your patient.
Louisiana more than 3 times the national average of infections. Florida and Mississippi almost as bad.
10 people in their 30s have died from COVID, 0 vaccinated.
And that's before you even look at what's happening internationally. The question, why give boosters here when some countries don't even have enough first shots?
We're planning to hand out extra life jackets to people who already have life jackets, while we're leaving other people to drown without a single life jacket. That's the reality.
And so the US prepares to jab again. 3rd time's a charm for those who want it. The big battle getting some to start with shot 1. And Delta rages on regardless. Phil Lavelle, Al Jazeera, Washington.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, stay safe and take care.